want to touch on is government regulations and the emergence of the nanny state. Today, nothing seems beyond the realm of government regulations. In the past year, I've done hundreds of one-on-one meetings with small business owners all across Montana. Did you know that if you get mud on your boots on a construction site and then walk into the road and the mud falls off, it's not mud anymore? It's a pollutant subject to environmental impact fines? Ronald Reagan said, government's view of the economy could be summed up in a few short phrases. If it moves, tax it. If it keeps moving, regulate it. And if it stops moving, subsidize it. That seems to be where we are. Given the importance of the private sector, we need to make it easier for folks to start and grow businesses. I'm not advocating no rules. That would be anarchy. However, on a continuum between anarchy and strangulation, we're a lot closer to strangulation today. We need balance. Every regulation is like a brick in the backpack of a small business owner. We have abundant public lands in Montana, and we love them dearly. Every summer, our family would strap on backpacks and hike up to an alpine lake with our kids and enjoy the great outdoors. But if you overstuff a backpack, the trip is miserable, and you might not arrive at your destination. Every time we add taxes, regulation, or increase the cost of health care, we're adding more weight to the backpack of every entrepreneur in America. The load is very heavy today. I met numerous contractors who used to have crews of 8 or 12 people, but now they work alone because they can't deal with all the paperwork and workman's compensation insurance and healthcare costs dictated by government regulations. What is the cost to our society when we make it harder and harder to start and grow a business? Well, less jobs and less prosperity, and ultimately, less freedom. Just this past month, I did a regulation roundup in Montana where I traveled to 60 communities doing town hall meetings, collecting these regulations, rounded them up, and to make it easy, that all the ones that make it hard to grow a business. We had hundreds of submissions on our website, regulationroundup.com. And the number one item raised was federal overreach, which is a big issue in Montana. Obama's costly power plan will eliminate 7,000 jobs in Montana and raise electric rates by over 16%. And even by the EPA's own estimates, the plan will have no meaningful impact on the environment. Interestingly, 1 year of forest fires in Montana produces 1,000 years of carbon compared to the coal plant we have in the state. And yet, because of government regulations, again, we're not allowed to manage our forests. We just watch them burn every summer, and we continue to lose timber jobs. We've lost over 500 timber jobs in Montana alone just in the last 12 months. Plus, regulations have delayed job-creating permits in our natural resources industry. At one mine in Montana, they've been waiting 11 years for a permit and have spent almost $30 million trying to obtain it. Now, I don't think we should approve every permit for mines, but we should be able to say yes or no in less time than 11 years. Milton Friedman was right. He said, quote, "Many people want government to protect the consumer. A much more urgent problem is to protect the consumer from government. Small businesses are dying a death of 1,000 cuts, and we need to stop the bleeding. So I want to do something about it. We're rounding up unnecessary and burdensome regulations, and then when I'm elected governor of Montana, we'll put them all out to pasture. We must make it easier to start and grow businesses. So I'm an advocate for entrepreneurs and for small business owners. They are the heroes in my narrative, and we'd be well served if first, we encourage young people to become entrepreneurs. Secondly, advocate for free market principles in our education system. And thirdly, peel back the regulations that make starting and growing businesses more difficult every year. I know this is a huge task, but we must undertake it for the future of our country. Our founding fathers never envisioned career politicians, yet they're everywhere today, surrounded by massive regulatory bureaucracies without an understanding of the private sector. It's of vital importance to our life and to our freedoms. Susan and I have been incredibly blessed in our life. Consequently, I feel a deep obligation to our country to preserve the American dream for another generation. It's the sole reason I've decided to step into public service. Not because I want something, but because I owe something. I love this country, and I know we can do better. Thank you. God bless you and God bless this great country.